I got a reading. This is from Paul, the 4th chapter of Philippians. And now, brothers and sisters, let me say one more thing as I close this letter. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right. Think about these things that are pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Keep putting into practice all you learned from me and heard from me and saw me doing, and the God of peace will be with you. All right, so brain research has been showing us, and psychological research has matched that. We focus on the negative way more than the positive. Now, this is kind of how we're wired, because it's like in our ancient ancestors, there was a lot of threat, there's a lot of risk in their lives, and so their brains would work faster than conscious thought in order to respond to something risky. That's your right brain thinking. Your right brain operates at about 6 signals per second, which is faster than you can think, faster than consciousness. Your left brain is 5 signals per second. There you can have thoughts. Like Paul is saying, keep these thoughts in mind. Think about these things. And so you can't think about those things when you are instantly at risk. At least you think you're at risk, or you're instantly threatened. And this happens to us whenever we're watching the news, or whenever we consume any kind of media. There's so much sensationalism on purpose, taking advantage of this, what they call negativity bias, that the old saying, newspaper saying, if it bleeds, it leads. Totally true. Because we will focus way more on the negative than we will on the positive in life and in situations. In fact, during this psychological research recently, they've shown that it takes about 4 positive thoughts, bits of information, to negate 1 negative thought. So when I mean by negate, I just simply mean that if you hear 4 positive things about yourself or whatever, or think the positive things, then if you have a negative thought, those 4 positive will make you back to neutral. But the problem is we're always looking for the negative. So it takes about 4 things. And so this is the way that in our relationships and in the way we live our lives, we just tend to focus on the negative. And that's not because there's something wrong with us or we're bad people. It's the way that we're wired. Our brains are wired that way. So when Paul says, think about these things, well, Paul, no, I really can't think about those things when I'm at risk, when I'm threatened. However, I can if I keep seeping myself in the positive, in what's admirable, in what's beautiful and excellent and so forth. That can become part of my thinking pattern, where it becomes ingrained then in my brain. And so the thing that I was missing, that I hadn't really ever thought about, is at the end of this passage, Paul says to watch me, listen to me, and see how I'm modeling my life. And sure enough, that totally connects to the right brain, the faster than thought brain. And so if you hang around with people who are a bit calmer than you are, who tend not to accentuate the negative and so forth, that is going to influence you. That will help you become more and more the kind of person that's not going to find negativity in everything you look at. And again, I'll give this bit of advice. Stay out of the news on purpose. They're making you think things are way worse than they are. And you know what? That's okay, because that's how you got to make a living if you're in media. But realize that that's not helpful for you, because you're going to find you're not going to find 4 positive for every negative when it comes to, well, especially a time period like today during this pandemic and so forth. So just remember these things and think on these things. Thanks.